Check out what I just painted. Oh, that's a little bit blurry. Let me fix that. I was just looking back through my albums and I saw that I actually started this illustration last September. So it's been a while. I think I originally wanted to do it for Halloween, which would make a lot more sense since it's a witch and a warlock. But yeah, here we are in April. Finally getting around to it. Had a lot of projects going on. But no more excuses. Let's just get this done. I actually really like this illustration. I've been wanting to get around to it for a while. I like the concept of it. I like the little fellas over here, little guys that I created. Especially this cardinal. I think the red's gonna look good against. Jesus, voice crack. Against the kind of greenish background I'm gonna be putting in here. And I like the story overall. I kind of have a story for this one, but I just I like the vibe, you know, the cool witchy vibe. I want to do it a little bit more earthy, sort of witchy, instead of like dark and spooky. By the end of it, you're gonna have to let me know if I succeeded in that. But alright, let's put some music on and I'll stop talking for now and then I'll come back at the end and tell you the story behind this piece. So I'm going to be doing this a couple times. You'll see me holding two different brushes and me just switching back and forth between them. So what I did was I loaded one of them with Aussie Gold Red, I believe the color is, and then the other one is a combination of raw umber and burnt sienna, because I kind of like that reddish look you get from the burnt sienna. And you're gonna see me do it here. I use the Aussie Red Gold a lot. I like the way it kind of warms up these yellow and earthy tones. I think it also kind of makes it look like there's a little bit of light hitting that area. You can see me, I just put that down right there. And I'm also gonna use it here once I get down to those second little bits of sticks. There you see that right there. Look at that. And then that kind of looks like a little bit of rust, maybe from like nails that were there before. So I take advantage of that a lot. You're going to be able to see that throughout a lot of my paintings. I think it's just kind of a fun way to warm up the colors and bring a little bit more light into it. So, alright, so now I want to get down to masking some of these little bubbles that you'll see in the cauldron, and this thing, this thing. Look at this thing. So this is a masking fluid, but it's super sticky. So if you get it like without being used for a really long time, it just kind of sticks together and it's impossible. I saw somebody use this trick once. Yeah. So it took me a while to actually get it open, but once I do, oh, you're not gonna be able to stop me. Look, once I get that, okay. So now let's actually start putting some masking fluid on these bubbles. You're going to be able to see why I want to do that later. Well, I'll just tell you now. I don't need to show you later. You'll see later, but I'll just tell you now. So if I put the masking fluid on here, I'm going to be able to kind of paint the potion, I guess, a little bit better, a little bit easier without having to go around every single bubble. Those who paint in watercolor, or I think in acrylic too, they've probably used this method before, but it's super handy. Okay, now I'll show you. And as promised, I want to tell you the story behind this piece. So this is Sargent. He's been retired from the Green Guard for some time now, and he now works for Tilly, who owns this tea shop. She usually likes to mess around trying out new flavors and mixing and matching them. But on evenings, she likes to play around with something a little bit stronger. She's always had a fascination for magic ever since she was little. And when she was older, she opened up her own tea shop so she could get easier access to a couple of different ingredients she would need, and started playing with potions. She's recently roped Sargent into helping her, and on this particular evening, she made something especially bubbly. And as she stirred and stirred, more and more bubbles came, until it got a little bit out of hand, and her whole entire shop filled up with these bubbles. Now, passerbys will tell you that these bubbles did not smell good at all, and they were just all over the street. So, unfortunately, now she's gonna have to pay to get somebody to come and clean it up, but that's not gonna deter her from playing around with more magic in the future. So now I'm at the part where I'm going to start adding some detail here and there. Maybe like these little feather bits. And then get to the hat and just working on the characters. I tend to like to do the backgrounds first and then move on to the characters. I think the characters are just the funnest part. So I usually leave the best for last. And also kind of gives me time to plan it out, so like depending on what the background looks like, I can coordinate that with what the colors of the characters are going to be, just to make them pop a little bit more. So if I'm doing like a cooler background, cooler as in like blues and purples, and not as in like, it's cool. It's cool, but anyways, so I like this cauldron. I did. And I was trying out this kind of rust pattern thing, and I think it came out pretty good. You're gonna see me kind of play around, and then here I'm also trying to see if I can do a cool lighting effect to make the potion glow. So I'm gonna go back and forth between the green and the bluish paint, and then I'm gonna lift it up to let them blend into each other like they did right there. And then you're gonna see me do some of the fur on Tilly now. And what I didn't really show here, but I do a lot of, is I'll go back and forth with a paper towel. So I'll add a lot of pigment, and then I'll take some away, see what the fur is looking like. It also creates some really nice texture. I did a little short video about not loving this paper because it didn't have enough texture. It's a hot press from Arches, and I usually like using the cold press because of the texture, and because I do a lot of animals, it helps give it that like fur texture. And also, God, I'm saying the word texture a lot. It textures like furniture and carpets and things a lot too. A lot nicer. And then I went back in the bubbles. I took out the masking fluid and finished it up. And just like that, we're all done. Look at that. I like the way it came out. There are a couple little spots here and there that I wish I did different, but overall, I think it turned out pretty okay. There are a few details I like a little bit more than the rest. I do like that glow on her face. I wish I would have done that a little bit better with the beak. I'm liking this broom. I think that was pretty cool. And also some of the rust around the cauldron. I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, overall, that right there is the witch and the warlock. So I do hope you like and subscribe and you stay with us. We're going to be doing Fantasy Friday drawings every other Friday. Next video I'm planning, I'm going to be doing a little bit more on that gnome graphic novel that I'm working on. So I hope you stick around for that. And thank you for watching today.